Hello, welcome to Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. Robert, the narrator here, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Confessions. Before we talk about what this episode is about, I just want to let everyone know that you still have an opportunity to win a hardcover copy of the basic edition rules for my tabletop role-playing game, Peace the RPG. If you go to the website for the game, peacetherpg.com, Peace therpg.com, and subscribe at the bottom of any of the pages, you'll be entered in to win a copy of the hardcover rules or the basic rules of the game. That drawing is going to be on May 1st, so you have until April 30th. And as a subscriber, of course, you'll get information when we kickstart the game. You'll get information about the early bird specials. So please go to the website, check the game out. If you like what you see, subscribe. You could win the basic edition rules. Thank you for checking that out. So this episode of Confessions, I'm going to talk about the little things that can really mean a lot to the game master or dungeon master who is running your game. A couple of things that definitely could make their job a lot more pleasant. Now, all of these tips are not going to apply because not everyone's play style is the same, but the first few tips definitely will pretty much apply across the board. So the first little thing that you can do in your game to really make your GM's job a lot easier, maybe not easier, but much more enjoyable, is to tell your game master when he does a good job. This is like the most basic thing in the world that you can do, is just to tell the game master that you like what's going on in the game, you really enjoyed the session. Very, very minimum effort to do. As a game master, I always like to tell my players when I think they've done a great job, when I'm really enjoying the game. Almost everybody out there loves to hear when someone is appreciating them. Almost everybody. So do that for your game master. That's kind of the basement level of the little things that you can do to help your game master enjoy the game as well. Now, the second thing that you can do, and this may sound a little bit self-serving, but the next level up of showing your game master appreciation is to buy him or her dinner, or maybe buy them a game book that you know that they're interested in, and maybe you want them to run for you. Now, like I said, as a game master, that sounds a little bit self-serving, but being a game master is a lot of work. They are very much responsible for, or how can I say this? Because I really don't believe that game masters are responsible for the game being fun. I think that's everybody's job. But what I will say is that a great deal of the burden of the game being fun is on the shoulders of the game master. So it definitely, if you were to buy them dinner, buy them a snack, buy them a game book, maybe buy them a nice set of dice or something, that'll definitely make the game master feel appreciated again. And it's always great. Like, as a game master, I love that when I hear from my players about the game, it's not always the things that they think are wrong with the game or something that went wrong with the decision that I made. It'd be great to hear from my players when they appreciate what's going on as well. So that is a good tip, I think. So tip number 3, and this is one of those things that is going to go across the board for everyone: pay attention at the game. It's nothing more frustrating for a game master, and maybe even some of your fellow players, when you're in the middle of resolving a conflict. It gets to your turn, and the game master has to tell you what is going on. Every time it's your turn, he has to explain where you are, what you're doing, what the condition of the enemies are. It's just really, really annoying and slows the game down. So pay attention, and a part of paying attention is to try to, sometimes when you're in a conflict, thinking outside of the box. I personally really, really love when my players don't try to resolve every situation by punching it in the head. That's really great. Like when I ran my game a couple of months ago for some of the guys over at Role Play Cafe, Jason, one of the guys over at Role Play Cafe on YouTube, please check out their channel, Role Play Cafe. They were approaching a cultist camp. They had cultists inside the camp at the bottom of a hill where the evil ritual was occurring. And what Jason did is paying attention, me not having to explain what's going on every 5 seconds. He came up with a fantastic idea to launch a arrow that was, the tip was set on fire, and launched it at the furthest tent away from the entrance of the ritual area, and lit the tent on fire, drawing the attention of all of the cultists who were guarding the entrance so that they could the good guys could sneak into the ritual area to take care of the bad guys, because he was paying attention. He was thinking outside of the box. I love that when players do that, and it's a little thing you can do to make the Game Master's job a lot easier. So tip number 4 is to make interesting characters. Yes, interesting characters are not characters with no background. They're not characters who are orphans. They are not characters who don't have any quirks or flaws. Now, this is starting to get into the area where these tips to make your GM's job a little bit more enjoyable, it may vary, because players and game masters don't always prioritize these things. The first 3 tips I think are universal. Now we're going to start getting into things that may not be helpful depending on your play style. And it was really great when I was running my game, referencing that again, David and Dell also playing in the game. They made very interesting characters. David made a human monk in the game, and every time someone asked his monk character for advice, he would say something that was very wise, something that you could imagine a wise monk saying, some type of saying or reference in regards to the situation that was going on, that was really deep and thoughtful, and that was amazing. Dell did an incredible job of making a nobleman who was somewhat pompous and arrogant, but had a heart of gold, because he actually cared about individuals who weren't at his level or in his station. So they made interesting characters that just weren't cookie cutter, and they had backgrounds. They had family members, they had friends, they weren't orphans. So again, not everyone is going to believe that that's a good idea, because everyone's play style is different. There is no wrong way to enjoy a tabletop role-playing game. So though I, as a game master, enjoy players who make interesting characters, not every game master does. So number 5 is also going to vary depending on your play style. Stay in character and talk in character. This is also kind of a part of paying attention. For me, the game goes a lot smoother if there's not a bunch of table talk and metagaming going on. So I love when my players stay in character and they're not cross-talking. It just immerses me as a game master much more. As a game master, I love and try to give my NPCs different voices and different little quirks, and I hope that I'm good enough at it that my players don't have to ask who said this, because if I'm doing a voice and doing some quirky gestures that I've given an NPC, just by me doing that, they'll know what NPC is talking, so I don't have to say, the bad guy says this. They'll just know. And again, this is not for all play groups, not all game masters, not all players, but for me as a game master, I love it when my players stay in character, and if they want to take that extra step, to do a different voice or different beliefs and make their character maybe as different from the player as possible. It really makes me as a game master feel like we're role playing. But again, this is a little thing that you can do that may not impress everyone because everybody's play style is different. And the final little thing that I think that a lot of players can do to have their game masters enjoy their game is to show up on time. Tell your game master and or tell your game master when you won't show up. I think my biggest pet peeve, really the only thing that could have me a little frustrated with my players, is for them not to tell me that they're not showing up. It's for me, it's just human consideration. It's completely inconsiderate to have a collaborative event going on and to have someone not show up and then not let you know, because you never know if there are going to be multiple individuals showing up, and that could affect the event happening. And I personally think, I know my time is precious, and I believe that everyone else's time at the table is precious as well. And showing up on time so that nobody's time is wasted, that is really important to me. And again, you would think that this was an overall kind of across the board thing, but it really depends on the game master and players. Some game masters really don't care if you show up on time. They really don't care if you tell them whether or not you're showing up. So that it may vary. There was a saying that results may vary, or something of that nature, that I've been trying to think this entire episode, and I couldn't remember that little phrase. But yeah, so those are the 6 things, the little things that you can do as a player to have your game master enjoy the game. Try them if it fits into your play style and fits with your group, and maybe you'll see some positive results. And again, please check out my tabletop role-playing game, Peace the RPG, at peacetherpg.com. And again, you could win a copy of the Basic Edition rules in hardcover. So thanks for checking out this video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are watching this video. Talk to you later.